Okay, so you want to build your brand, but you're not sure how to get started. What are the fundamentals of even building a strong brand? Where do I even begin? Hi, my name is Justin Kraut. Welcome to Corporate Marketing Guy, where I share proven ways to build your real estate brand like the pros. I've just spent the last 20 years building iconic American brands like Oster, Sunbeam, and most recently Mr. Coffee. And I've been sharing a lot of what it takes to build a really strong corporate brand. So I wanted to share some overarching themes to get you started and to get you on the right track. Here are the 5 things that I think are most important brand building fundamentals for building a really strong brand for your business. Number 1 is think big. Take this seriously. In the brand that I was leading, Mr. Coffee, we didn't have the biggest budget. So we would be repeatedly forcing ourselves to think bigger. Think bigger about the products that we can create, the power of our brand, and I would share that same exact technique with you. As a real estate agent, you probably don't know the influence and the power that you have. Even if you're on your own, if you're an independent agent, I would really highly recommend you just think bigger. You are the CEO. You're the founder of your brand. If you're working out of your house, that's your global headquarters. Allow yourself to think bigger and get out of your own way when it comes to how you are going to communicate your brand, communicate your business in a bigger, more effective way. So my first advice is think big. Number 2 is what I would call strategy drives execution. In the corporate world, one of the things that we would always have in terms of a mentality is that until we actually had a strategy to go do something, we wouldn't go start doing it. So essentially, it's building a plan before you take action. When you don't let strategy drive execution, it's almost the same thing as saying ready, fire, aim. Really what you need to say is ready, aim, fire. Strategy drives execution. So build the plan, build the objectives of what you want to try to achieve before you start doing the work. Number 3, branding is all about touch points. Touch points is that magical word that kind of describes any communication that's done on behalf of you or your brand every single day. This could be a phone call, it could be an email, it could be a social media post. Anything that's being communicated on behalf of you or your brand is considered a touch point. And every touch point is either going to strengthen the brand that you have and the brand that you're intending to build, or it's going to dilute it. There's no steady state. So if you aren't communicating, if you're not building your brand through touch points, your brand is eroding. Your brand's either always getting stronger or it's getting weaker. And it's all about your touch points. The number 4 fundamental is being consistent. When I was working on the Mr. Coffee brand, all of the brand communication, all of the touch points had to flow through me as the brand leader. So I would have to determine, is that communication, is that touch point on brand? Are we consistently delivering to the brand identity that we've created for Mr. Coffee? See, I believe the strength of a brand equity, is made up of hundreds or thousands of tiny little on-brand decisions that you make. Every one of those touch points is either growing or diluting your brand, and the strength of your brand gets stronger the more consistently you're delivering tactics against your brand. And number 5 is measure everything. In the corporate world, the way we track progress is almost always through a metric. We had a number that we were targeting, we either delivered over it or we delivered under it. Measure everything you can in your business and when you're building your brand. There's no better way to improve at anything you're doing than to measure how well something worked and then do it again, change something and measure that activity. So if anything can get measured, measure it, track it, and see how well you're doing. So I wouldn't be a good YouTuber if I didn't give you a bonus. So we'll call this number 5 plus. Is you have to be partnering. The power of activating your brand really relies on the ability to make strong strategic partnerships. This is a situation where 1 + 1 = 3. You find a really strong partner, and together both of your brands are rising above the tide. The power of partnerships is that you can find ways to grow and build your brand at a more affordable, a more cost-effective way. Last year, I launched the most successful product that we had at a $9 billion company, and we didn't have a huge investment. And one of the strategic partnerships that I created was with a flavor company called Torani. We were launching an iced coffee maker, and Torani was helping us by launching and promoting their syrup. But together, both of our brands had a much stronger impact. We were able to sell an experience. So I strongly encourage you, team up. The power of partnerships is that both of you are going to grow your businesses together. So as a recap, think big. Allow yourself to think big about your brand. Strategy before execution. Before you go off and start doing things, make sure you understand why and make sure you have a plan. It's all about touch points. And your touch points are either gonna build your brand or they're gonna dilute it. Be consistent. Your brand strength is made up of hundreds or thousands of little on-brand decisions that you're making throughout every day. Measure everything. If you can measure it, track it, and find ways to continuously improve your brand building efforts. And lastly, partner up. I believe the strongest brand activation efforts are when you amplify your brand with another brand. Find another brand, find another company that's serving the same client, but you're not competing directly against. And if their brand aligns with yours, you're only gonna make both of your brands stronger. So that's it. Those are the brand building fundamentals. If you found value in this content, please like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. At executing touch points that align with your brand. So be consistent.